What's the worst response to, "You're under arrest"? A nose boop. ETA. Holy flarking snit. I had zero idea how much a response this would get. Thank you, all, 4th awards. No, I'm under the influence. Is this the part where you frisk me? I always loved that part, haha. No, I'm a sovereign citizen and you are overstepping your authority. Because of maritime law or something. I know you are, but what am I? No, I'm dad, gets tased. Thanks, you too. Do you know WHOIAM? What screams, I'm a man-child, but nobody realize it. Feeling the need to outman the other men you are around. Everybody but the man-child in question will notice this. Never owning up to your mistakes, and constantly blaming someone, something else for them. Never apologizing. Never being wrong. They talk at people without listening or sense of empathy and get quick to anger when called out. I'm an alpha. They have extremely strict morals and principles when citing them will get them out of doing something. They will drop all morals and principles when ignoring them will get them out of doing something. Not taking out your garbage for weeks on end when you live in an apartment building, even when the weather gets really hot and your trash stinks so badly that simply walking into the building is like being hit in the face with a decomposing corpse. Yes, man-child and number 33, I'm talking to you. He breaks stuff and punched holes in walls over things, doesn't even matter how big or small the trigger. Immediate signal he's a man-child and incapable of regulating himself and his emotions. Edit. Seeing some people defend this behavior or arguing semantics. If a man is constantly showing aggressive behavior to the point of breaking things, or is someone who defends this behavior, yeah, I'd say both are massive red flags. Screeching down a neighborhood in the evening. When he refers to watching his own kids as babysitting or acts like it's a favor. Not learning how to perform basic domestic tasks like laundry, dishes, etc. If they make an active decision not to learn those things, it just tells me they want a mommy and not a partner. What's the fastest way you've ever seen a new coworker get fired? A coworker sent an email to a female team member that he had a dream the night before that they had gotten married and he impregnated her. She sat across from me and I literally saw her face as she read the email. A strange look came across her face, then she walked into the manager's office. She left the office and he got called in and less than a minute later was packing his things. I believe from start to finish it took less than 5 minutes for him to send the email and get fired. New guy came into work hammered out of his minden, started trying to operate a forklift right in front of the regional safety manager. A lot of forklifts certified and, right in front of my OSHA handbook, memes were shared that day. We hired a woman who turned out to be pretty abrasive. How she got hired, I have no idea. Our secretary was the sweetest lady in the office and never complained until this new hire talked with her for a few minutes. Right after talking to this horrible person, she approached the boss and said she would walk off the job if this new worker stayed on with us. By lunch, half the office was ready to walk off the job because of this abrasive person. She just had an utterly horrible way of talking to people that made them feel degraded and enraged. She was let go at the end of the day. New guy offered to pull a semi-trailer to a dock for unloading. Said he did it in the army all the time. I told him, nah, you gotta get tested out by the safety guy first, someone else will handle it. 5 minutes later, I see him pulling the trailer around anyway. Okay, I gotta go tell this dude he's fired 2 hours in. Before I could advise him of his updated employment status, the AMN trailer came loose of the tractor, slid right off the back. He didn't know how to drive a semi. He did not know how to check the trailer was locked in. New IT guy asked me, accountant, if he could use my company card to process payments. I asked what payments does a freshly hired IT guy have that accounting, purchasing can't take care of. His excuse was that the president emailed him personally asking for him to pay some invoices via some links he sent. Yup, IT guy fell for a phishing scam. Gone the following day. It was in that moment my company learned never had the director of finance oversee and hire for an IT-related role. Worked in a sales call center about 10 years ago, real brain-dead work. New guy starts on a Monday morning. After he gets trained up on the basics, which takes about an hour, he gets assigned a desk and sets off to work. 30 minutes later, it looks like little puffs of steam are rising up from his computer monitor. Turns out he was vaping on one of those disposable e-cigarettes, the kind that sort of tried to look like real cigarettes. He gets told by the boss that way can't vape indoors, and if he wants to, he'll have to go outside to do it on a break. About 30 minutes later again, the same thing happens. He gets caught again, and is told in non-certain terms that if he wants to keep his job, he'll stop vaping at his desk. An hour later, he gets caught hiding under his desk vaping, and is promptly fired, all before lunchtime. Dude could have just gone outside. A guy at my work was caught playing World of Warcraft for hours each day. Boss called him in and told him that was wholly unacceptable and he had to stop immediately or he'd be canned. Less than an hour later, IT calls the same boss and says the guy is back in his office playing again. He was let go that day. Worked second shift at a factory. Late in the evening, we would prop open the doors along the side street, try to catch a breeze in the summertime. One night, this drunk guy stumbles in through the side door and just starts striking up conversations with everyone like he owns the place. I run over and try to tell him that he can't be in there, and he starts telling me he's supposed to start work that night. We kind of argue for about 5 or 10 minutes about the fact that I didn't have anyone new starting that night, and I finally tell him that he needs to contact someone in the office the next morning. When I came into work the next day, the first shift supervisor told me that he was supposed to have a new guy start that day, but he never showed up. It told him that the guy had actually shown up, 12 hours early and staggering drunk. In a way, he was fired before his first day on the job. When I was in college working at Walmart, cashier, I trained a girl on the register one evening. Maybe a week later, she comes through my lane buying groceries. I ask her how she's been, since I haven't seen her since the day after I trained her, and she tells me, unprompted, she's waiting on her court date. One of her friends went through her checkout lane, but she only actually scanned about a third of the items. About $1,500 of merchandise went out the door free of charge. My response out loud was, oh. My response in my head was, did you seriously not see the camera mounted above every single register? I know someone who was hired as a manager of some retail store. Being the manager, he thought he could show UP whenever he damned well pleased on his fist daisy. He's the boss. He showed up around noon and found the store closed. Turns out as the boss only he had the keys, so the staff couldn't open the store. Big boss man didn't have to worry about opening the store the next day. He no longer had a job. The new dishwasher told the hostess he wanted Tauker in the SS in front of the entire staff and several early morning customers. It was borderline a mob. Pizza delivery gig, new guy on his first shift. Claims he's got previous experience, so doesn't need training. Clocks in. Grabs a few pizza orders ready for delivery. Leaves with his car to deliver. An hour later, the calls start coming in about the status of their order. They haven't been delivered. The guy just grabbed himself a bunch of free pizzas and left. I secretly admired him. Day 1, delivering pizzas. I was the trainer. Dude wasn't familiar with the town at all. This was before GPS was a thing. Second delivery. He gets in the car and proceeds to floor it in the parking lot, showing off all 80 horsepower for the 30 feet before slamming on the brakes to turn onto the main street, nearly hitting a customer and her young child. I say, whoa, slow down in the parking lot. You almost hit that kid. UCKM, was his response. That was his last delivery, lasted all of about 90 minutes. Showed up and just instantly dropped her entire life story on the boss, preventing them from doing work and not doing any work her whole first shift. Boss gave her another chance, and the next day she just sat in the back in tears over a text she got for the whole day. In high school, I worked at a clothing store as a cashier. Guy next to me has his sister come through with a huge pile of merchandise. He scans one item that was on clearance for like $2 over and over again for everything she had, which was likely hundreds of dollars. Didn't realize the manager was standing right behind him. Go clock out and give me your name tag. You're gone. He didn't argue or anything, just put his head down and walked off. The manager jumps on the register to clear the transaction out and the sister takes out her card. This is going to be a credit. Manager says, not for $2, it's not, get out of here. The sister actually tried to complete the purchase like nothing had happened. Lol. What person has gone the furthest with the least amount of talent? The Salt Bae dude. He had one viral video, made it onto multiple talk shows, and has just become a big ick with a massive ego. John Montague, 4th Earl of Sandwich. Excerpt from his Wikipedia page. Sandwich retired in 1782. Despite holding a number of important posts during his career, Sandwich's incompetence and corruption were legendary, inspiring the saying, seldom has any man held so many offices and accomplished so little. Catch me outside. Girl edit. Seems a lot of people are happy this is a common answer. Truth be told, as am I edit too, there's a lot of people saying she has a song called Gucci Flip-Flops, and as a person who's not into materialism, this makes me dislike her even more. Lol. My boss. Kardashians and TikTokers like Charli D'Amelio and Addison Rae. 90% of social media influencers. Danielle Bregoli, the Kardashians, the cast of Jersey Shore, beside Polly, because he actually DJs, and all the teen moms. DJ Khaled. Who immediately comes to mind when you hear the words, insanely hot? My house right now. FCK I hate summer. Hansel. So hot right now. The girl I'm about to go on a date with right now. Holy hit. Not sure how the hell I made this happen, but I'll take it. Edit. Holy hit Reddit. Date went great. We just had dinner and drinks and got to know each other better. I met her at a concert last week, so this was date number 2, kinda. She's very pretty, down to earth and soft spoken. This is probably the most popular comment I've ever had in here. Henry Cavill. Early 2000s Jessica Alba. God AMN. Anakin on Mustafar. Marissa Tomei circa My Cousin Vinny era. Edit. Holy Positraction Differential. Any era. And there's about 5 films I need to watch. Ana de Armas.